Now, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has filed 8-count criminal charge against a suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, and 6 others for alleged drug trafficking. In the charge, the agency specifically accused DCP Kyari and 4 other police officers of conspiracy, obstruction, and dealing in cocaine worth 17.55 kilograms. It equally alleged that Mr. Kyari and his men, who are currently in its custody, unlawfully tampered with 21.25 kilogram worth of cocaine. Now, the NDLEA filed the charge against them hours after the Attorney General of the Federation, Abba Kyari, granted the request for Mr. Kyari to be extradited to the United States of America to face trial over his alleged involvement with an internet fraudster, Ramon Olonwa Baz, also known as Hush Puppy. Let's talk about this. I have joining me in the studio a public affairs analyst, Razak Olokova. Thank you so much for being on TBC Breakfast.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be with you. Good morning, viewers at home.
Right. Now, the federal government has decided, to extradite suspended DCP Abba Kyari. No more dilly-dallying, you think, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Extradition is a surrender of a criminal from whatever country is to the country he has committed this crime without his consent. And nothing is clear about this. The countries, for lack of proper understanding, decide to sign agreement with each country so that you have a clear view of what you are into. Nigeria and America had their own agreement in 1931, right. But for proper understanding, it started putting to use in 1935. And the last person that was tried in Nigeria was Lawal Oladimeji, who was accused of recruiting criminals in the Arabian Peninsula to train in Yemen. The last attempt was on the senator from Ogun State, Kasamu Buruji, which never came to light. The recent one is Abba Kyari, and the issue has been on for a long time. Well, given the status is Amir's career that is pursuing as a police officer, it may harm the image of Nigeria if you don't accede to the request of USA. It has not come to public knowledge. Any American citizens that has been extradited to Nigeria, we have not gotten one, but I've had several Nigerians that has been extradited to America. And there were accusations from them that our characters is interpreted to mean that we obstruct this extradition so many times. So maybe this is another golden opportunity for us to clear that accusation in the air. If it's a regular Nigerian, it might not be that serious. For a uniform person, it might be difficult to say that he should not go. It's good for the image of Nigerian police, and it's also good for the image of Nigeria. Nobody has said that he's guilty yet. Let him go there, get his own lawyer, and fight his own case. If he's guilty, he will answer for it.
So how do you think, because just when we were talking about whether it should be extradited or not, the issue of the NDLEA, the drug issue came up, and then they've actually filed, the case of conspiracy, obstruction, and dealing in cocaine worth 17.55 kilograms, and that of the other 21.25 kilograms, and the $61,400. So how do you think this is going to impact on his extradition? Is it still going to delay it?
That's an angle that is creating confusion. Learned men said that if you are answering for local crime, that you may not be extradited. And that's one angle that people begin to look at suspiciously, that why is that kind of thing coming at this time? Because we have not had Kyari's issue dealing in drugs before. It's been with wire fraud. So that angle looks it's unclear yet. And I just hope that what the rumor going around is not true. That the rumor going around is that it may be a soft landing for Abba Kyari.
What do you mean soft landing?
Not to be extradited, because of the caveat that if it is true that it cannot be extradited if he is answering a local crime, if it's in the court, if it's taking court for local crime he has committed, that he may not. be taken. So I'm saying that I hope it is not so.
That is one. Other people also say that it might go to the United States. If he is convicted, fine, it's service time, and then it'll be brought back to the country and continue.
That should be of course. If you have committed 500 crimes, it should be brought to book for it. And if you are found guilty for those 500 crimes, you should be punished for 500 crimes, because you have hurt 500 people. You have hurt 500, if it is an institution, 500 institutions. And the law is clear about the penalty for it. So those penalty for all the crimes that's committed, you must serve it. Which one comes first, we may not know. If it is the local crime that comes first, he will serve this one and still go and serve that one. There were cases of former president of Bulgaria, and I forgot, in 1991. He just been sentenced to life imprisonment in the recent time. Don't also think that in Nigeria too, some of us are not documenting certain things that at the appropriate time we may also go to court. While the crime committed during the military days, it may happen one day. June 12th is there, and a lot of other detentions that we suffer, persecution. It's still there. We may bring it up in the future. Members of our organization that were key under Obasanjo, it's still international court that we take you to. So it can still happen anytime. So no matter how long it takes, if he goes to America, he may have to come back, and that is good. Yeah. Because if you don't punish people who do this kind of thing, it's particularly with what is going on in Nigeria today, it's a good thing. Yeah. Because crimes that are not being punished for is an indication that I can walk away with it. So if this happens to a police officer, other people will sit up. If you look at the thinking of young men these days, and what is responsible for it is because criminals are not punished. So particularly for people who travel abroad, more than 9 out of 10 people who travel abroad are always thinking that if I get there, crimes are committed there, I can always run back to Nigeria. And that's why we must begin to enforce that extradition law. You know, extradition law means that if you commit a crime in your own country, you run to another country, you'll be brought back. If you commit a crime in another person's country and come back to your own country, you'll be taken back. So it is a good thing. It's right time we start beginning to remodel the image of Nigeria. For instance, look at the Ukraine war. It's because of the way we have projected ourselves as black people. That's why we have been treated like that. If other nationals are not treated like that, so it's that time we begin to repackage ourselves as a people, and that is the kind of respect we are going to get in the rest of it. If we don't do that, we will continue to be given this kind of disrespect.
So we've been talking about the Abba Kyari's extradition, for a long time, before January, when the issue of the drug came up. That was just people saying that, well, it looks like the government is papering over whether to extradite him or not. Now with this NDLEA and all of that, the latest report said that it will be extradited very soon. And then NDLEA comes out again. So it's just like replaying what happened before. But how long do you think this process might take for him to be extradited?
I think for the image of our as a nation, first, the law must come first. If you have a local crime and crimes that have committed in another country, which one comes first? And the one that comes first should be allowed to go. If it is the local crime that he will punish for, it should go for it. But the only thing is that the civil society are trying to investigate that what is the coincidence? Is it a coincidence? Did he actually commit that crime? But I don't think that because of not being taken to America, you want to smear your name the more. I don't think that may happen. Maybe it's just that the guy is just a penchant for committing crimes. Maybe that he has that penchant. So I want to believe that. I don't want to think that some people in government has decided to do that for him. With
what you just said now, maybe he has a penchant for committing crime, because he's one person who coveted so much celebrity lifestyle. Whatever he does, it goes on social media, whether he's eating, the people he frolic with and all that. But all the same, and in all of this, his hand was caught in the cookie jar. Does that speak to the fact that some of the achievements he has recorded over time, he was largely celebrated? Super Cup, that's what we called him. Is that to say that some of the gains he has recorded should be revisited one way or the other?
No, you see, when the case first started, I was one of the people defending him that we are bringing down our good officers. The EFCC guy, Magu, went down. a lot of other guys, good guys like that. So I was thinking, what's wrong? So people sit down somewhere to write a script to destroy this guy's name or what? So I was one of the people that said that no, Kyari should not go down. But until the second one came up, you see, the way the country is run at the moment, your good public officers will continue to suffer this kind of fate. What do I mean by that? Police officers should be allowed to emerge through their rank and file. As long as we continue to appoint the IG of police by president, the IG of commissioner of police by the IG in Abuja, you will continue to have this kind of situation. I'll build a career officer. There's an incident going on recently about a police officer carrying food for, and that's the picture you continue to see. If you don't allow police officer to rise through rank and file, if it is at the whims and caprices of the president that appoint the IG, if they grow if you get your IG through the rank and file and they grow, they won't be subservient to any political officers, and that is why you see situation of the likes of Abba Kyari that you have to concede to me. I influence your promotion. There must be this kind of party arrangement. And that is what brings many officers down. Magu did not want to do that. And look at what happened to him. So Kyari too, I pity, he's a good guy, he's a good officer. But
he knows the job.
He knows the job.
But the character is something
but as good as it is, see, when you have an economic depression in a nation, you have a corresponding moral depression. As long as you don't address economic depression in Nigeria, it will infect. Decadence is a communicable disease. It will infect all your institutions. It will infect all your good career officers. It's going to bring a lot of people down. When you have career officers who are scared of fallback, who are scared of life after office, who are scared of what's going to become of me if I leave service, you're going to continue to have that. So you have people who serve 35 diligent years as SSS, as army officer, and they are not to point out. So as long as you continue to have that, if you don't address that, you will continue to see officers. I'm not building case for them.
Because I was just going to ask you whether you're making a case.
I'm looking at society. I'm looking at our society. Right. Why is it that good officers are caught up with that? It's not because of absence of guns and bullets. That's why I've continued to have criminals now. It's because our economy is under depression. When you have 70% of your youth jobless, it is natural that you are going to have kidnappings, ritual killings, and things. When you that argument you're advancing might not go down well with others. That's the bigger.
Let me put that to you.
99.9% of workers in Nigeria seek for unconventional means.
Let me put that to you. You know, we are all in the same country. We are all facing the economic challenges. We are all we just spoke about the fuel scarcity and all that. If I should ask you, how did you get here? You tell me, the harrowing effect you went through.
See, when you forget it, when you forget
the question I'm going to ask you is, we are in this same system together. Has it affected your character as a person?
What I'm saying is that when you read purgatives, you purge. Right. When your economy is bad, you have moral issue in your country. I'm not talking about Abba Kyari in isolation.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about the general issue.
So system. You're blaming the system. You're blaming the current situation.
If you run away from it, we are not helping the nation.
So are you saying that everyone in the same country that we are, feeling the same effects, having the same experience, has it changed our character? Does that really change?
Some people have stamina to withstand it. That's the reality. Some people don't have stamina. Okay, why do we have increase in ritual killings? That's people don't have that stamina. And the way out of it is what I've said, that take economy away from the federal government. The federal government don't build the economy. You lay a template for it. Return the economy back to state government. Let them control their resources. Let them create employment for their own children. As long as you don't do that, then people look up to federal government to create employment for them. You will continue to have jobless people, and these boys in the state will hold their governors responsible. It leads to anger. Then they will start kidnapping. So people like Abba Kyari now, what I'm saying is that we have so many Abba Kyaris in the police force, in NNPC, in DPR, virtually every year. It is a decadence. And decadence is a communicable disease. It keeps spreading. What's the essence of that decadence? Economic crisis. When you have economic crisis, you have this kind of situation, particularly in a nation where you are scared of your future. These are issues that lead to what Abba Kyari is doing. He's a good officer. That's what I'm saying. But maybe he looks at my future, I kept arresting, no commendation except on TV, on shows. So the way out of it, when to stop having people like Abba Kyari is to look at where we are coming from. The life of our police officer. Yeah. Go to their barracks. Why are they living the life that they are living? So if we want to deceive ourselves, don't just pretend that it's not existing. Let's keep saying that so me I should do me to start stealing. You can't steal, and you are a model. I can't do that. I become a model. So that means you are a justification that what you are doing is not correct, and that's why they are being punished.
Right. Anyway, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abba Kyari, said that is not extraditing Abba Kyari is not political. It's to ensure that the proper thing is done, and then it takes him to. So
I agree with him on that.
Even though others are, so many people were already saying that maybe because if he's not from a particular extraction in the country, he would have been faced with a lot of serious issues. So do you think this will put to bed the tribalism sentiments that has been whipped up on this issue?
Well, I agree with Malami because Abba Kyari is a good guy until this came up. And you can't say our good guy has a issue with the US. And to date, it does not come to the public knowledge, whether we have applied for it or not. I have not seen on record from my research that we have extradited anybody from America to Nigeria. I have not seen any American citizens to Nigeria. I have not seen one. Whether they have refused, whether it is. So we have to be careful. And we should know that it kills morale. When they say, I show Jack Robinson, Abba Kyari, go on. It kills morale of the police. So I like the diligent work that they have done. They have been diligent about it. As he committed the crime, investigation has been done. And it's not as if he's going straight to jail. He's going for a trial. If he's good, because there are so many angles to security. There are times that you allow criminals to, I'm not building case for him, you allow police officer to mingle with criminals for the purpose of seeking, if you can prove that. So there are so many angles to that. You should go there. The latest one is this NDLEA issue. He has not been able to defend himself. So I don't want to condemn Malami for doing a diligent job. And I don't want to subscribe to the fact that because from another extraction of this, it's going on already. And that's a good thing for the government, because when you look at the index of corrupt nations in the world, it's satisfying to see Nigeria on that list all the time, day in, day out, day in, day out. And issues like this will also raise your rating in terms of incorruptible nations in the world. If you don't do it again, it will further smear our name. And a deterrent to others that there is nowhere you are in the world that you cannot answer for your crime.
Well, so if the extradition of Abba Kyari wasn't approved, well, could these have affected the bilateral relations between Nigeria and the United States?
And on extradition time, of course, it will affect it. And they also said that we have repeatedly frustrated extradition. It's on record. Like Hassan Buruji's case now, it's one of the it's one signing example that they have given that the senator, a serving senator, that they are asked to come to America, that there's a way that will package that it makes it difficult for him to be brought to America. So it will have affected it, and that's why I said that it is good that this is going to happen, and I hope that we are not going to stop at this. It should not be only about Kyari. There are hundreds of Nigerians who have done similar things in other countries of the world, and they have run back home. The appropriate thing we should do, because it's been seen as a career. Go to America and steal money and come back to Nigeria. People don't go to, some boys don't go to school again. They buy laptops, and the next thing they start learning is how to do Yahoo Yahoo. Because this is Yahoo Yahoo. So it is a good thing that you punish offender. If you don't punish offender, the danger or the picture you are painting for your youth is that crime is a career. And with this now, a lot of people is going to sit back. People will start sending their children back to school or to learn one trade or the other that I think this crime is all for you too.
All the same, part of the things that you've recommended is the fact that we should try to ensure that things are done properly in this country by installing the proper system to make things run. Part of it is the police reform, which we've also often talked about. And recently we heard that the police service commission, or the police institution will be providing free uniforms for their personnel. You see that as a good step?
See, I don't know what kind of people we are in this country. When people say that stop calling half a dozen, it's okay, 6, you are still saying the same. See, we are not supposed to be taking a step forward and 10 steps backward. What we need in Nigeria is the security institution in this country. We need to remodel it, not that kind of thing. What we are saying is that how do we arrive at the promotions? How do we arrive at the apex? You can't be asking an officer in a nation who is also an appointee of Nigeria.
No, you're saying that you don't see that as a step in the right direction.
No.
Because they felt that if you have to buy your uniforms, it shows that you need money to buy that. Look at how much you take home. It's not enough, according to people's reviews. So
we don't need palliative. That kind of palliative.
So you see it as a palliative.
What we are saying is that does that stop police officer carrying plate for one woman at a party? It doesn't stop it. What we are saying is that let the police be independent. Let them control their fund. Let them be in charge of their career. Let them be in charge of their promotion. Let the IG of police grow through rank and file, not the appointee of anybody. As long as promotions are given to police on the influence of politicians, we are not going anywhere. As long as politicians controls police funding, we are not going anywhere. And that ditto for other institutions too. All other institutions like INEC should be independent. Somebody who is a stakeholder in an election will be appointing INEC chairman. That's not how to do it. Just do a proper thing in an election and we'll get a proper result. You can't be thinking that there's an escape route to running a nation. There's no escape route. There's a universal law. If you want your nation to succeed, there's a universal law that guides that. That universal law is to run a political system that is peculiar to your nation. A peculiar system in Nigeria that must run is that a system that discourages over concentration of power at the center, because we are a nation with multinational nation where we differ, and because we differ, one culture can't rule Nigeria. Allow other culture to thrive. Allow several economies to thrive. Allow several perspectives. Just like what our forefathers have done. There was no way we agreed that this kind of model that can work for us. And that is affecting not only the political system, it's affecting all our institutions. And this is what has also grossly affected our police institutions too.
Anyway, we continue to monitor this situation and see how soon Abba Kyari will be extradited to the United States. Public Affairs Analyst Razak Olokoba, thank you so much for your keenness of insight.
It's a pleasure, baby. Thank you very much.